Welcome to Dads and Daughters, episode number 8. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving weekend. Kelly and Jenna, the lovely and the babushka, we had a great time. We watched that Mike Tyson, Roy Jones fight last night. And after Jerry Cooney next June, I think I'm going to take on Nate Robinson. So Nate, me and you are going at it, buddy. I don't think I want any piece of Jake Paul. He looked pretty tough last night. So Nate, you're my guy, man. After Cooney, coming after you, buddy. So lots of food this weekend. So we need to burn up those calories, and we're going to focus this episode on physical and mental health. So we want to start off talking about physical fitness. Started about a year ago with his F45 training, which I had heard of by a friend of mine, Mark Wahlberg, Marky Mark, and his brothers. I was at a Miracle Day charity event last year for Mark Wahlberg Youth Foundation. We do it every year up in New York, and F45 started in Australia by founder Rob Deutsch, and Mark was pushing me to take the plunge with F45 training. And at the same time, Jimmy Wahlberg, his brother, was pushing me to be Jerry Cooney's opponent for this fight night that we're now going to be doing next June, supposed to be this past June. And the big irony of it all was F45 was also slated at that same time to open a franchise right in my own very neighborhood a few weeks later. So it was all meant to be. And another tie into F45, I got to say, is my trainer, Irish Mickey Ward. He was also played by Mark Wahlberg in that movie, The Fighter, over 10 years ago. So Mickey's now my trainer for the Cooney fight, which is pretty cool. And I want to play a little intro clip on that whole experience. It's a family affair with F45 training. That was the Prodigy program. We're going to talk a little bit about that and introduce Barry Cineri, who's backstage and coming on now. Talk a little bit about that. And there's Barry.
Hey, team. How are you?
Good. They're going to do some burpees for you. So you figure 10, 20 burpees to make up for yesterday. Although
I'll see them soon enough, Mike.
I know you will. You will. But also, we want to have a quick clip. That was a Prodigy clip. There's another clip of the Wahlbergs, which I think went viral last year. And if the producers backstage can get that clip on, we'll just show a little bit about the Wahlberg tie-in to F45 and how we all got involved in this amazing program.
I am with Paul Wahlberg, and you might know him for the Wahlburgers show, and we want to make a shout out to the F45 studio down in Wakefield, down in Raleigh, North Carolina. 200 people signed up already. We're killing it on the workouts, and what do you say about it, Paul?
Just keep at it. It's hard, but it is so worth it, and what you get out of it is amazing.
Yeah, and what does Mark say? I mean, Mark is really big behind this thing.
Mark lives F45, drives me crazy. I'm a little more slower paced, shall we say. But it's a great workout, and what it does for you, and spiritually and physically, is amazing.
There's some great coaches. We got Barry, we got Jenna, Sarah, some really great coaches, and even get this old man in shape. So thanks for all you do.
You're
at
younger
F45.
Than I am. You're not that old.
Oh,
why are you making me feel bad?
All right, sorry, buddy, but
I know it's tempting to go fall off your program, but you got to stay on the program. Eat a little bit, and then go to the gym and burn it off. I am 154 days dry today. The mission continues. We're going all the way to Christmas. No wine, no potato chips.
Hey, Mark Wahlberg. We are here at F45 Wakefield in Raleigh, North Carolina. Worked up a big sweat today. And just, hey, I'm wearing my CIBC Miracle Day shirt. It's one of all the great charities that we did this event for the Mark Wahlberg Youth Foundation. Loved it, man. And big announcement, I'm going to be fighting my man Jerry Cooney in a boxing 3-round exhibition June 20th. In Hoboken, in New Jersey, to support YCS, which is Jerry's charity. These guys are going to get me in shape so I can go 9 rounds with the champ. And Jerry, you better watch out, buddy. So I'm coming at you, man. I'm still young at heart. So June 20th. But hey, anybody that can make a donation to YCS, Jerry's charity, and also support the Mark Wahlberg Youth Foundation, let's do it. So let's have a good workout. We crushed it today, right, everybody? Yeah. There's my girl, Jenna, Sarah, Barry, the coaches, and Peter. Hey, great job, man. Let's keep it going. Yeah, baby. All right, let's do it.
Happy 1-year birthday anniversary to F45.
Yeah. You look a little fitter there, Mike.
I do. Yeah, I think Barry looks more like Mark Wahlberg than me. I'll tell you what, because I can't keep up with Mark Wahlberg and his workouts. I'm more like probably Paul, because Paul doesn't walk a lot of burgers. So there you go. But Barry, talk a little bit about your involvement, what drove you, and just let's back up to how you got involved as a fitness trainer over 15 years ago. What drove you to start your journey doing this amazing stuff?
Yeah, I've been in the fitness industry for about 20 years now, personally. Really, like, kind of tying it into Prodigy real quick. I was just a kid that was out of shape, overweight, wasn't really physically active. And as I got closer to like my college age years, I kind of got into physical fitness and just really like truly changed my life at that point. Just really helped me with my self-esteem and just feel better. And when I was in college, I started just continuing to exercise regularly and just made a decision at one point in time that that's what I wanted to do as a career, to help other people kind of like set themselves up long-term to be physically and mentally and healthy and well long-term for sure. So long story short, I started in a personal training studio, did that for probably about 15 years. And one of my first clients introduced me to F45, the franchise, and took a look at it. And I thought it was just absolutely fantastic and wanted to be involved. And so from there, you know, we just kind of partnered in business to open several of these here in our area to transform our community, to think and feel and live healthier, to just increase their quality of life. And I think really F45 really provides all the tools to be able to do that.
You're always so great with motivation too. And I know one of the had to be around maybe Christmas or New Year's last year, you were telling your personal story with your son, and just really touched. And I think motivated all of us to just try harder, work harder. And I'm going to share that. I think that was just a really moving experience.
Yeah, it's actually been around this time 10 years ago. We were in the process. My son had fallen ill, and we were trying to, at that point in time, at the stage of the game, trying to figure out what was going on. And just before Christmas, 10 years ago, he was diagnosed with medulloblastoma, which is a pediatric cancer. And, you know, that was something that, you know, obviously my family and I didn't really think that that was something we'd ever have to face. You know, he battled that very hard for about a year, passed away just short of his third birthday, going on near 10 years ago. And, you know, that's really truly at the core of why I do what I do. It's kind of a twofold thing. I would say the first phase of it is I really feel like people take their health for granted, you know, and so through F45, I really want to help people kind of see the value of taking care of yourself and how it kind of puts you in a position to truly live out your gifting a lot more effectively by taking care of yourself, because you put into yourself, you'll be able to put much more into others. And on the Prodigy front, just helping kids kind of set that foundation for long-term healthy living, and that would just help maximize their lives as they grow and as they develop. So, you know, what I do day in and day out in the studios is a twofold. I just help adults maximize their lives and just help kids, help them set long-term healthy patterns. So
well, you're dedicated 24/7, and I think the consistency is what I see in the members that go. I mean, we've had a lot of great members in our community, as I call it. You know, we have Dawn, Amber, Corey, Jim, Megan, Carrie, Irina, all the people that come every day. If you only come one day a week, you don't get a lot out of it. My girls, to make this a lifestyle. This isn't just going
to a lifestyle.
It is. It's a community, and that's what I find about F45. I'm not doing this as a plug. I'm not being paid by F45. This truly has been the most amazing experience. I lost personally 45 pounds to get down in training shape for the Cooney match. I probably put about 5 back on during Thanksgiving, but I'll work it off this week. But it's just been amazing, getting me in the best shape I've been in probably since college football, and just incredibly grateful for what you've done in the Prodigy program. I think it's really extending to my girls now and giving them some good lifestyle.
I enjoy spending time with Kelly and Jenna for sure. They listen very well. I don't know if they listen to you that well, but they listen to me.
No,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, they're gonna do 20 burpees to me later, but that's all good. No, but boot camps. I mean, even during the pandemic, Barry, last thing I wanted to say before we is the amazing about F45 is during this pandemic, everything's shut down. I mean, governors across the country, even in North Carolina, you know, we had this at-home workouts that you developed. You pivoted really great with getting folks at home when we couldn't get out of our house to do the program at home in my living room, or we did boot camps. I remember sweating in 110-degree heat out there in Raleigh, and we all got our workouts in. We didn't miss a beat. I didn't miss anything. I know I can't speak for all the other members, but that was truly grateful to, you know, to get that program in during a national crisis and to make sure our health didn't suffer, because really, I think mentally, the mental health of a pandemic are really unsettling, right? So getting the physical health in, keeping the routine is so key. So got to plug that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, truly, like for a lot of people, like exercise is medicine. You know, I mean, it's a healthy outlet. And, you know, especially with all of us these days spending a lot more time at home, there's a lot less interaction with other people, and you have to take care of yourself, you know? And so, you know, we pivoted as a business. We wanted to continue to provide the service that we provide and just keep people healthy and well, both physically and mentally. And, you know, I just know, like, for kids, for example, a lot of these kids are like going to school at home right now. It's virtual and they need a healthy outlet. And we really feel like F45 provided us all the resources and tools to be able to continue to serve our community and give them a healthy outlet, both physically and mentally. And, you know, we did whatever we needed to do to make sure we can bring that to them on a day-to-day basis, for sure.
And it's safe as well. You know, I think in terms of safety, nobody's gotten sick in the studios, which is great.
Yeah.
The boxes are 9
We've
feet
had
apart.
zero cases in 3 studios. We've had 0 cases of COVID. So I mean, we're doing everything that we can to keep everybody safe and healthy through that process, for sure.
Well, thanks, Barry, for joining the program. I mean, this is the 1-year anniversary. Wanted to time it with the great celebration and plug for Prodigy, because really Prodigy is now taking this generation from me, from an old man, down to my girls, and they're so thanks for all.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in, you know, training up your children in the way they should go. So like that to me is just like an overarching thing. And if we can just put these healthy lifestyle things in practice now, this is something they'll continue with for the long term, and they'll reap the benefits of that. Absolutely, for sure.
Well, that's great. Well, thanks, Barry. We're going to talk now about another organization called Mission B, which I had the pleasure of being a board member for the last 5 years. They focus on mental health, mindfulness, meditation, and yoga. So we're going to play a quick video to talk a little bit about Corinne Winter, and have some other special guests from my high school that are going to join as well that do mindfulness as well. So thanks again, Barry.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I'll see you girls very soon.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Okay. So we're going to do that.
Hi, I'm Corinne Winter, the founder of Mission B. We're a nonprofit bringing mindfulness into schools. Since 2012, we've impacted over 40,000 children and trained thousands of teachers. We're so excited to have experts in the field with us today, as well as mindful educators and children, to share with you how these practices have changed their lives. Thank you for joining us.
Mindfulness is important so you wouldn't be stressed out all the time.
Mindfulness is good because it helps people kind of relax instead of being worried and hyped up.
You know, some people would probably be shy in the class, and you know, once mindfulness came, it would really help them to overcome it, and they would be more happy about themselves. So, you know, if you have like a big birthmark on the side of your face or something, you just shy to show it out, you know, mindfulness teacher will come over and just tell you that's the most beautiful thing about you, so you should show it, you should be proud of yourself. And yeah, I think it really did.
When I'm about to take a really big test or quiz, I breathe constantly because I'm very nervous that what happens if I don't do good and I get a bad grade. But I focus, when I do mindfulness, I focus on doing what I know and doing the best I can.
Well, I want to introduce 3 special guests. The first one that's going to pop in here is Corinne Winter, who's the founder, executive director of Mission B. You know, launched it in 2013, impacted schools all over the country, and helps children regulate emotions and mindfulness training, and serves as an antidote to stress violence, bullying, and addiction, and especially critical now given the uncertainty of the pandemic. Also, Corinne, I just want to make sure I introduce two high school classmates of mine that have also done mindfulness in the New York City school system, so Board of Education. So Dave Paris will be joining, and Ursula Koffer as well. And they're going to pop up. There's Dave. Dave was on an episode a while back talking about his recovery from COVID and some special things, but we want to focus on what Dave really has his heart and mind for, which is this. Dave has spent 25 years in the New York City Board of Education. I don't want to date you too old, Dave, but you're my age, so we're all old guys. But MS88 teaches literacy and dance and social emotional learning, which is really focused on life skills and critical thinking, conflict resolution, and student goal coaching. So, and he'll talk a little bit about this social emotional app that he started to develop. And Ursula, about 24, 25 years as well, old like all of us, I'm kidding, but we're all young at heart. But she's focused on teacher development, evaluation coach at the New York City Department of Education, District 15. And she's working on a project she'll talk a little bit about called the School for the Mindful Inquiry for grades 6 to 12. So welcome everybody to the show, little reunion. I haven't seen any of you guys in person in about a year. So Dave, I hope to see you Thursday at our Hornets Midwood football reunion. So we'll talk about that. But Corinne, I want to talk a little bit about how you got involved in Mission B. Obviously what drove you, your personal story with your sister Beth, and just how you got involved in this and how children are benefiting from this program around the country.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mike and Kelly and Jenna, for having me on the show. And hi, Ursula and David. Nice to finally meet you. I'm so excited and honored to be here. So my background is I was a high school social worker for 10 years in New York. I also worked in a middle school for the same time. I also spent about 4 years working in the New York City foster care system as a clinician and a casework supervisor. So I really saw the need in the field for mindfulness and social and emotional learning. When you're a school counselor, you can only counsel 1,200 students. So you can only counsel around 10% of those a year. So then the other 90% of students aren't really getting mental health services. And typically in schools, they only offer 1 semester of health in all 4 years, typically during 10th grade. And that's not really enough to cover all the things we need to learn socially and emotionally and for our health and well-being. So I started teaching mindfulness to the students that I worked with at the high school and the middle school. Also, right around when I started that job, I lost my sister, Beth. She was 23, and she had just graduated from University of Rhode Island, and she was going for her first series of job interviews, and she was very anxious about that. She had no training in social and emotional learning in her schooling growing up as a kid. So when she was anxious, she went to her doctor and he prescribed an SSRI to help her manage her feeling of anxiety. And she had a very terrible side effect, which caused her to take her life a week later. And we know for a fact that it was the drug that caused her to commit suicide because she was not suicidal or even depressed. So that's kind of the fire that was lit under me to really move forward and push forward my program in the schools and really value how can we reach every child. Because as a school social worker, you typically see the students that are struggling with anxiety and depression in that moment or family issues at home. But every child needs mindfulness, and every single one of us at some point in our lives is going to face adversity. We're going to face challenges and disappointments and stressors. And no matter who we are, we're not immune to that stress. So we all need skills that we can take with us throughout our lives to help us better face those challenges. That's what inspired me. Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's great. Well, Dave's got a lot of fire in his belly too. You know, Dave, talk a little bit about the social emotional learning education and some things you've done, a newsletter, a podcast, even developed an app, I think last year you're working on. And I think you're also working with Ursula on what she's been working on too. So I just want to hear a little bit about your involvement, personal connection to this amazing mindfulness education.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm somewhat new to mindfulness. I'm a nonviolent communication trainer. And that's a compassionate communication where we see the world outside of our should and shouldn't, or good or bad, and we connect to our feelings and what our needs are. And when I did that training 4 or 5 years ago, my classrooms transformed as kids had a choice to take what comes up naturally in the mind and then transfer it to a way that they could connect to their own feelings and needs, and then think of their other people's feeling needs. And I had them practice doing empathy sessions with each other, where they were listening to each other and guessing the other person's feelings and needs. Those skills transferred outside the classroom and also at home. I think one of my biggest moments is when a kid said, "Yeah, my mom was really upset," and I went up to her and said, "Hey, are you feeling angry because you're needing support?" And the mom said, "Yeah, that's right." And I knew there that there's something, as much as we can spread this communication style. And then that led me into some mindfulness training, working with Ursula last year, and introducing that this year to my students. I'm not an expert. I'm still studying it and working on it myself. And I could talk for a lot, but that's, yeah.
Well, we hope to get you involved, Dave, with Mission B. We talked a lot about over the last year with what Corinne is doing. And Ursula, the program that you've been working on, the project, is School for Mindful Inquiry. I think given the pandemic and what we're all going through right now, I know it has remote learning based program as well. And talk a little bit about what that does using an inquiry-based learning approach. And it's got this hybrid brick and mortar and remote learning methods. Really, really incredible.
Well, thank you. So I started teaching yoga about a year ago. I got my certification and then became the mindfulness point person for District 15, and I wanted to see what best practices look like. So Dave opened up his classroom to me. He let me interview them. I videoed his class. I was really blown away by the way kids were able to carry themselves, their deportment, because of work. So a few of us came up with the idea of designing a mindfulness school, which would be the first in the country. The plan is incubated in New York City. Hopefully in District 15, it would be a 6 to 12 model. This would be the first school in the country that would offer every incoming 6th and 9th grader with a mindfulness capstone course, I should say survey course. And the mindfulness practices would be also integrated in courses throughout their math, their English, their civics, sciences, and so forth. We'd also be the first school in the country that would offer bilingual Spanish yoga teacher training to students who are interested. And the entire focus of the school, the instruction, would be inquiry-based. So it would be more around students solving a problem, using their remote learning time to interview people, gather information, generate reports, present their reports. And the school team is a compilation of teachers, students, parents, community members, local elected officials, and the kids actually designed 12 different schedules before COVID around remote learning and blended learning models, where they're either in school or they're home, and different combinations of both. So this was actually designed before COVID. The kids, every decision is ran before the kids. You know, they make the final decision on everything. So yeah, that's really where we're at. And David, I look forward to working with you more. And Karen, I've heard of your work. I know you were at MS51 in District 15 and would love to work with you as well.
Well, that's great. It's awesome stuff. The yoga, by the way, you know, I've been, the girls know very well, my yoga trainer is a guy named Diamond Dallas Page, professional wrestler. Known him for about 25 years since I was a failed professional wrestler kind of guy back in the day. But DDP has developed this amazing program that I've been using even throughout the whole F45 training. Yoga, I love it. And it's not yoga for women, but it's really yoga for tough guys as well. So I'm trying to plug that as well. DDP, if you're listening, hey, DDP yoga, man. But great stuff here. So you're doing a lot of that workshops as well. And Corinne, talk a little bit about the core values that you really tried to drive through, and kind of how do you sustain the program, all the efforts you've done over the last 7 years. Now, pandemic has hit us. Again, I think virtual now world is now, how do kids go through this being at home?
Yeah.
Adapt your model to be more in-home based, where people are remote and not in the classroom where you do your workshops.
Yeah. So some of the values that we actually teach the children is to be present. So often, our mind goes, we have around 60,000 thoughts a day, and 40,000 of those thoughts are the same as yesterday. So teaching them the value of the present moment, teaching them self-compassion, so how to be loving and kind towards ourselves. We also teach them important things like empathy, and we teach things about gratitude and altruism, and really about taking care of ourselves and our own well-being so that we can better take care of others. So Mission B, what we've been doing during the pandemic is we've been doing primarily virtual trainings. We do have a district that is back fully, well, not fully, they're every other day in person. So we are delivering services live in the classroom for that one district. But what we've had to do is kind of recreate our program so that we are able to make the online training engaging, entertaining, fun, and effective. So a lot of the stuff that we do in the classroom is there's games that are involved, there's group activities. So we've been using the breakout rooms a lot. We've been getting the students into either dyads or triads or groups of 5 for them to do some of the group work. And we've had to modify our games and find Zoom games. It has not been easy to have to recreate a lot of the way we deliver the program, but the basic mission is the same. And surprisingly, many kids can do a lot of the movement. I'm also a yoga teacher, and so there's a lot of yoga-based movement and Tai Chi-based movement and even some dance type of moves that are integrated into the classes. So we do a lot of movement with them from home. Yeah, so we've been adapting, but it hasn't been easy. A lot of our, we did already have online training for students. Another thing that we did in April was a Mindful Teacher and Parent Summit. So if you go to mindfulteachersummit.com, you can see we interviewed, we did like 36 or 37 interviews. We had all sort of different authors and speakers on the platform. It was really great. It was 21 days, 37 speakers, and that's for teachers and parents. And if anybody wants a discount code, they can email me and I'll give them a pass for that to get onto that site. But yeah, so we found that we actually were able to reach a lot of parents through that as well. And coming up in the next few weeks, we have a lot of evening workshops for parents. We have professional development for teachers online, and the majority of my staff is also teaching online. So we're hanging.
I think the innovation is great, Corinne, and I think Dave, what you've done with your social emotional learning and the app, the newsletter, adapting, and obviously Ursula as well with your program. So what I want to do is also volunteer Kelly, I think given her anxiety disorders, things that she suffered through and has, and maybe using her as a guinea pig, Corinne, maybe do some of the workshops involve Kelly. We'll come back in 3 months and we'll see. We'll have another show with you guys and see how it's impacted her. I think. What do you think, Kelly?
Yeah.
Because I think the special needs population, I think it can have a lot of valuable benefits. They've been home for like 9 months now, so they're kind of. I think this is a good point to really come back and see. So thanks for giving us a good overview of.
Absolutely.
And Dave, what you're doing, Ursula, what you're doing. Hope to see you guys soon and in person. But in the meantime, thanks for all you did to help children. This is what the focus of this show is on. So we talked a little bit about physical health to start the show. Now mental health, I think, is so crucial right now. So want to wrap up, and thanks for everybody for joining. And we'll have a great show next week.
Resources too, if you want, at missionb.org, and you go to the videos section. There's free videos that all the kids can watch. missionb.org under videos. And I just want to thank you, Mike, for being on the board, and thank you to my board, Monica, Aiken, Mike, and everyone, and Ursula and David. Thank you so much I'm so excited to get connected to both of you and to hopefully work together in whatever capacity we're meant to. And thank you it takes a village to help all of the children in our country. They need this more than ever. So Thank you so much.
Well, let's do the show again in 3 months and have kind of see how much progress we've made. So thanks for being part of this.
You got it. Bye-bye, everyone. Okay. Thanks. Have fun.